Hello there. This is Blood Sand Arena, a Roman arena survivor where one gladiator holds off an endless horde, with a shop that rolls in between waves, different weapons and skills that you can use, and even different bosses and enemies. Every sprite was generated using our new Auto Sprite version 3, which allows you to generate sprites with just a text prompt, and then you can add multiple animations with one click. Everything started from a concept image, and from there I created the static player and animated them. I did the same thing with one of the enemies. Let me show you how powerful our Auto Sprite version 3 is. Everything started from a simple idea. Here, you can take a look at the concepts that I initially created. So, my idea was to have like a gladiator, fighting different waves of enemies. Then, from this image, using the Auto Sprite, I created this gladiator and also the sprite sheets with the different animations. I also, for example, really like this kind of enemy, so I also created it and created the different sprite sheets. So for this, I want to be using the Sorceress Game Creation Suite, and more specifically, the Auto Sprite version 3. Here you can take a look at some of the generations, and how this works is very simple. On the left, you have lots of image generation models, including, for example, GPT Image 2 and Nano Banana Pro. So you just select the model that you want to use, paste in a prompt on the right. You can even use your voice. And then over here, you select the aspect ratio, how many images you want. If you have any reference, you can upload it over here, and you just click on Generate. And while doing this is how you can get very, very good results. Then you can go inside any of them. And the next part is the animation. Once again, you select any of the models. In this case, I've used this one. And now we have to generate the prompts for the different animations. The cool thing is that you can either type them manually, giving them a title and a description, or you can just click over here on Generate Prompts, and the AI will automatically give you very good ideas based on this concept image. So for example, it's going to give me, in this case, another animation: walking, attacking, jump, hurt, prepare to charge. And after this, I can just click on Generate Animations, or if I don't want any of them, I can just click over here to remove them. So for example, over here, I created a dying animation, a walking cycle, and also a charging animation. So this is going to be like some kind of special attack that I want this character to have. And by the way, this will by default come with a background, so you will have to select them all. And then to remove it, you can either use corridor key or chroma key. Corridor key is a little bit more efficient, but will take a little bit more time. And you can either execute it on the cloud or on your local machine. Usually these default settings will work just fine. You can set the chroma color in the case that you're using a chroma key. And then in terms of frames, usually a setting that tends to work very well is every 4. If you use every frame, what is going to happen is that the animation will be very heavy. And then, when we actually create the game, we may have some performance issues. So every 4 is very balanced. For example, these animations over here have been extracted every 4 frames. And as you can see, they look very, very cool. Then you just click on Remove and wait a few seconds. So, for example, I have this lion over here that looks absolutely amazing. And by the way, if any animation that is generated, you want to modify it, you can either modify the prompt or directly click Regenerate. So let me clean their background, and I'm going to do it every 4, just so that we have an example. So let's click Remove. So here our 3 animations are completely clean. As you can see, this is like the attack animation. Then here we can play the walk animation, looks very, very awesome. And from here, you can modify the frame size. You can directly download the sheet, or download the individual frames. Or if you want, you can also modify the frames per second. For example, if we set it to 15, then here's going to be playing faster. And once that you have everything like this, you can select them all and download the full pack. This is going to give you all the sprite sheets. Then it is a matter of repeating the process with the different characters and animations that you want your game to have. Once that you have that organized to create the game, we're going to be using Wizard Genie. More in specific, its desktop version. And then over here, go to File, Open Folder, for example, and you will just need to basically create an empty folder. Here, the engine will automatically create some stuff. And over here, you will start dropping all your assets. Then over here, you can select whichever AI model you want to use. GPT 5.6 Terra is very cost efficient, just so you know. But if you want something a little bit more powerful, you can try out from Claude, Opus, or even Fable 5. Then over here, you have to write your own prompt, or you can even use your voice to tell the AI about the game that you want to create. So for example, in this case, I described the game that I wanted to create, and not only that, but I also uploaded this docs folder, for example, containing a complete game design document describing exactly what I want my game to look like, and also like the different mechanics and everything that it has to include. These kinds of things are what make the difference between creating a game that feels generic to creating something that actually feels unique and something that is actually fun to play. What I'm also telling it in the prompt is that I've already created the assets for this boss and also the player itself, but all the rest, the AI has to generate it itself using the tools from Sorceress. Now, this is not just sending one prompt, leaning back and waiting until the AI does everything for you. In reality, you're going to have to do some back and forth with it. Here I actually iterated a lot of it, for example on the UI style, the font style, and more stuff. I even suggested specific fonts for it to use. But then, you can go here to the viewer, hit play, and your game will load. You can go to full screen mode or even open in an external browser. So, for example, this is like the final result after a lot of iteration. The main menu looks very, very cool. And whenever we press enter, as you can see, the game starts. So the idea is that we are this gladiator, and as you can see, I can basically kill all these different enemies. It's an enemy's health. Literally, there are dozens of enemies coming at me at the same time. This is the exact idea that I want, like something a little bit chaotic, and that sometimes you don't even understand what is going on. You just want to kill enemies, try to survive, because as you can see on the bottom left, we have a health bar. And here, for example, comes this boss that we manually created in AutoSprite. And I really ended up liking the result. And even like when we level up, as you can see, we can choose between, for example, different weapons that we can unlock, or even passive skills. So for example, now I'm going to choose this turret over here with the 1, and now I'm also going to be having a turret that is basically this one over here that will help me kill more enemies. So here I have, as you can see, a lot of enemies that are shooting at me. So over here, I'm killing them, and I have also another attack over here, or some attacks that are just done automatically. As you can see over here, with this white light over here, let's say, for example, now we are unlocking a new weapon. And once you get it, now I have this kind of shield around me. It's basically endless. You have to defeat enemies. You have to survive. There are basically a lot of things going on at the same time. I think that is what I actually wanted to create, and take a look at all the sprites and everything that the AI created. And so manually, I just created the player and the purple boss. But all the rest was 100% generated by the AI, 100% on its own, even the environment. Like, we are inside of some kind of coliseum, and that looks very awesome. Here we even have some kind of boss that we have to defeat. And overall, looks very, very awesome. And I'm sure that even with like a little bit of iteration, this could even become way, way better. And once again, remember, these were like all the assets that I created on my own, that I manually validated and created, that are inside this sprites folder. But then in this generated folder, this is everything that Wizard Genie created, 100% on its own. Like we have this banner, the cart, the floor, that looks very, very good, some decoration as well, and even like the enemies themselves. This is something that the Wizard Genie created on its own. So very, very cool. And I can continue, as you can see here, opening folders, opening PNGs, opening sheets, and well, you will see the amazing work here that Wizard Genie has done. So well, this is all for today's video. You can start using the Sorceress Game Creation Suite with the link in the description down below and start making your game ideas a reality today. See you in the next one, and bye-bye.